the mentor to a new generation of Shark Tank-style celebrity entrepreneurs, and he claims to have found the holy grail of personal and business branding. Can't wait to hear about that. His clients call him the Trigger. He's an entrepreneur himself with several businesses running, all to create a massive cash flow so he can give the money away. That's interesting, isn't it? This should be fascinating. Let's welcome Shawn M. Miller to the show. Hey, Shawn, how you doing today?
Hey, Winton, I'm doing really, really well. It's nice to see you.
Great, good to see you, and really looking forward to what you have to say. You know, we all love the show Shark Tank, but
Yeah.
can you explain to me what you mean by a celebrity entrepreneur?
Sure. Well, Winton, this is a new paradigm in culture. Right? Back in the day, big business people were villainized, right? The big
Sure.
industrialists, they were bad guys and villains. And today, there's a new paradigm. Things have changed, and the most influential, most popular people in media are business people. I heard just this weekend that the most influential person in all of social media, you'll never guess, you might think it's Barack Obama or maybe the Pope, it's actually Bill Gates.
Wow.
Right? And Bill Gates is a celebrity entrepreneur. He's one that understood that his personal branding and his persona was a big impact on his business, and as that business grew, it was very intentionally elevated and promoted the personal brand and the name of Bill Gates right along with the brand of Microsoft, to the point now where not only is he maybe the wealthiest man in the world, maybe, but also the most influential man in the people's media of social media.
Yeah, very good. That's an interesting perception. What would you say sort of the holy grail of personal and business branding is? I mean, that's a real interesting concept.
It is, and what the Holy Grail sits atop what we call the Pyramid of Allure, and the Pyramid of Allure is based upon the authority of business credential. Right? We talked about Bill Gates a minute ago. That his authority as an expert in what Microsoft does in the world of technology is undisputed, right? He is a thought leader, authority in that particular space. But he's also very influential and has a lot of allure in his personal brand, which makes him a celebrity. And that celebrity side is the other side of the Pyramid of Allure. So what we're looking at in the Holy Grail is this combination of business branding authority with personal branded celebrity that we believe creates the Holy Grail of influence and access. And I think it's best demonstrated. I have a quote that we use often. Mark Cuban was on Shark Tank. He was competing with the other sharks for the opportunity to take on this investment company, which is something you have when you have a lure, right? The business partners and capital providers will compete for the opportunity to work with you. And Mark said this. He said, "There's no one who won't take my call." And what he was demonstrating, I think very powerfully, was this influence and access that he has as a leading celebrity entrepreneur.
Very good. Yeah, that's how did you stumble on this? This is really an interesting mixing of sort of diverse sorts of things.
A little bit, but it's an evolution. You know, Winton, for more than 20 years, I've been teaching business people to be more effective in business. I started literally when I was 20 years old as a wholesale rep of sporting goods, and I began to teach my retailers to be more effective as business people so that they would build my relationship with them, and they would sell more and then buy more from me. So this is, for some reason, that's been very natural for me to train business people to be more successful in business. In the last several years, I've been very focused on authority creation, and I've been taking experts and helping elevate them to a position of authority or thought leader in their market space. But what I discovered over and over again that they really struggled with was this idea of really creating allure. they had a hard time being sexy, if I may, and really presenting a powerful image that was attractive to people. And what I discovered is that, and many people don't like this, but this is what it is. Yeah, Winton, you will earn infinitely more income based on who you are than what you do. And that's just the nature of business and of our culture today. So we're leveraging that intentionally and helping experts and business leaders build powerful allure so that they're really able to play at the high end of the game, of their business game. And it really changes the way business is done for them.
That's interesting. Can a business professional really become a celebrity entrepreneur? That almost doesn't seem possible. I mean, there's a lot of boring businesses out there, people that manufacture Duma flatchets or something like that. How can they become a celebrity entrepreneur?
Well, you're right, because computer operating systems are fascinating. I mean, nothing is sexier than ones and zeros, right?
Right.
And yet we have Bill Gates and we have Steve Jobs, right? We have sexy stuff like real estate, and yet we have Donald Trump, and we have exotic industries like publishing that produce for us, magazine publishing that produces for us Oprah Winfrey. So I really don't think, that how sexy the product is. Well, that's great, and that's but I honestly couldn't tell you much about the Ferrari family. I really couldn't. So it's I think those are different factors.
Mm-hmm. Very good point. You use an interesting word, posture, in some of your presentations that I've seen before. And what do you mean by that? Can you give me some examples of how business leaders can impact their posture to the world around them?
Yeah, absolutely. People, it's really easy to explain posture in a simple way that people mess it up. Which is kind of the opposite of the question, but it really helps people understand how they presenting themselves is really, really impactful. And two common ways that I see people and your viewers can impact right away is by how they handle themselves in this situation. The one of them is a question of how you doing, Winton? And the most common question or answer to that today is I'm busy. And people are in this thing where they demonstrate it's cultural, it's habitual. They're demonstrating a lack of power. They're demonstrating overwhelm. It's not attractive. It's very attractive to have momentum and have a ton of things going on in your company. That's very attractive. But being busy is not attractive. That means I'm overwhelmed and I can't handle my stuff. The funny thing is, though, on the opposite of that, and related, is then you'll ask them for a time to meet with them, and they'll open up their calendar, or they'll send you one of these calendar invite tools online, and it's wide freaking open. They got all the time in the world as far as their calendar looks. So then either they're not busy and they're completely full of it, they're overwhelmed by nothing. Or they completely don't manage their time, none of which, is very attractive. So one of the first things that we do, Winton, is work with our clients and how they present themselves in simple situations, the language that they use, and then we begin to establish more sophisticated things like a vetting process that limits their prospects' access to them and adds allure in a magical way.
That's great. Wow, that's really a good insight. That's the traditional answer when I was in corporate America was, how's it going? You always wanted to look busy, and there were people in companies that I worked for whose only skill in their lives was to look busy when the boss walked by. So that's a really interesting insight. It's about being in control of what's going on and managing the balance of your work life, and particularly for our Barefoot Consultant members, that's a big deal. How do you manage your work life? It's one thing to develop a portable income, but you want to do more than that. You want to be more than just busy. You want to have a life and have balance there. That's cool. What's your number one best top strategy that our viewers and listeners can use right away?
That's a great question, and in addition to beginning to work on your posture and allure, the most powerful tactic that we use to immediately take that expert or that leader and vault them into a strategic position of control and influence in an industry niche is what we call the bold prediction. And what I mean by that is that only thought-leading authorities prognosticate. Only thought-leading authorities are, they're the ones that analyze and give you their insight and predict for you what the future will hold for your industry. Anybody can report, right? Any kid out of college can report.
Sure.
But only real thought-leading authorities can prognosticate about what will happen in the future and begin to influence in a powerful way, because they're saying this is what will happen in our industry, this is what will befall you if you do not listen to me, and they can begin to exert authority influence in a space very, very quickly. And Winton, that is exactly what the traditional media outlets are desiring and need. If you're running 24/7, 365 media in niche markets as we do today, they need controversial, prognosticative copy and content and people that are willing to step out and lead that make great news. So when we begin to leverage that bold prediction, it becomes really easy to gain access to a lot of traditional media exposure. And nothing is more valuable and is faster to build your allure in the marketplace than being featured in a lot of traditional media. It's the bold prediction, Winton.
That's great. That's amazing. You just have to sit down and watch 5 minutes of any cable news show to see that that's exactly what they're going for. It amazes me some of the positions that people take on. One side is kind of conventional wisdom, and then the other side is just who would ever agree with that? But there's always somebody willing to jump up and do that, and they do get the time on the cable shows. So that's great. Okay, well, very good. Well, how can people connect with you? What's the best way for them to find out about your programs and your business coaching?
Yeah, absolutely. Winton, I'm a fairly influential guy online as well. I'm very active in social media spaces, and I'm always Shawn M. Miller, SHAWN, M for Michael, my middle name, and then Miller, MILLER.com. So, well, that too. So you can find me on any of the social spaces as Shawn M. Miller, and you can also come to ShawnMMiller.com. You can see the latest, what's going on with us. You can see what events are upcoming, a lot of speaking events coming, including international events. And you can also see the latest, what's developing in the celebrity CEO model, and even have access to the vetting process and move forward with that if people want to. So that's what we're doing, Winton. I'm pretty easy to find. Shawn M. Miller,
right.
Easy to find.
Very good. Just throw a rock at the internet and you'll pop up. That's wonderful. I've seen your Twitter site, and man, you got a lot of followers on there. I think I saw over 100,000 on there, right?
Yeah, we've got a good amount of followers on Twitter. We do a lot. We do a lot on Twitter. I do a lot on LinkedIn. I do a lot on YouTube. Those are my most popular sites.
Well, that's great. Well, thanks for all the good information. Look forward to talking to you again, and have a good one. Adios.
Thanks, Winton.